someday come and drive my blues away. When you come, be ready to play. Do your duty. If you want to have some luck, give your baby your last buck. Don't come quacking like a duck. Do your duty. I heard you said you didn't love me down at Mrs. Brown.
Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome all fellow citizens of the United States and Canada, free thinkers all across North America and the rest of the world. We are opening our first broadcast tonight, and I hope it's working. Seems to be. Please bear with me as I learn all the bells and whistles of this broadcast system called StreamYard. Daniela Aliola has been helping me a lot get up and running. Feel free to add comments in the chat room. I will be looking at them. I don't have a moderator yet, so it's going to be tricky for me to keep tabs on the comments. But this campaign that we are beginning together, that I'm trying to push my energy into getting rolling, is called Sasquatch and Civic Duty. And the basic idea is that although we've all been working in our own special pockets of research and geography, there hasn't been a sustained, large-scale, collective, coordinated effort, a political effort. And that's what I think is needed, not on the level of research, but on the level of, oh, Claudia is coming. Claudia is coming. But on the level of moving forward with gaining leverage over information that is being hoarded by the powers that be. Now, am I 100% sure that the US government and the Canadian government and other governments know everything there is to know about the Sasquatch species? No. I'm 95% sure that they know a whole lot about the Sasquatch species, but what I'm 100% sure of is that they know at least that the species exists. And if we only achieve one thing in this effort, in this campaign, it'll be for them to acknowledge to their citizens, as we deserve to be informed, that the species exists and what sorts of adjustments we need to make as a people to this fact, both to keep ourselves safe and to keep the species safe. We need to leave Sasquatch alone physically, but we cannot shortchange our efforts in trying to learn more about them and in trying to inform ourselves about how the species and our species interact. Some of the danger points, some of the stress points, some of the inevitable clash of cultures that will take place and have been taking place for thousands and thousands of years. This has been mostly in the dark. We need to shed some intense lighting on this interspecies dance and interspecies, in some cases, clash, so that we can improve the odds of as harmonious an interaction as we possibly achieve. But hey, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
I'm excited. Welcome to the broadcast, my friend Claudia Ackley. I'm very honored to have you as our first guest.
Thank you so much. I'm honored too. All I want to do is, I'm not an expert. No one is. It's just my experiences that I wanted to share with people, and I want to make a difference in the world. to help others as much as I can. That's what life is supposed to be all about, you know? So, yeah.
Well, bravo for that. That's what I'm trying to do too. I think most of us are.
Okay.
Just
So
quickly go through the backstory of what brought you to your present circumstances.
I'm very compassionate with people that have had bad experiences. A lot of people are mad at me because they're like, you're like trying to like say they're all bad. I said, no, I've never said they're all bad. I said, I've never experienced a bad one actually. But I said, I'm sure there's bad ones out there. I mean, come on now, us humans, we're not all good. You know, you have like an alert like of people. It's the same thing with them, in my opinion. So as we were going on that trail, I've never talked to my daughters this way, but that day I said, you know, there's bears out here and they can hurt you. You never run from a bear. Mountain lions get you from the top and they come up to you, they creep up to you. I was educating them on wildlife as we were driving to the trail, which is like a mile from my house. So once we got there, I handed my 14-year-old daughter at the time my car keys. And I said, just in case you need shelter, here's my keys. And then my little daughter, I said, if I tell you guys to run, hold hands and do not look back. You have to listen to what I'm telling you to do. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay. Just do what I say. Don't argue. They're teenagers, you know, and they're girls to make it even harder. So we started walking on the trail. And since my daughter knows that I'm in this whole Bigfoot thing, they roll their eyes. I don't know if your daughter's the same way, Chris, but they get tired of us talking about it, I guess. But
yes,
my youngest daughter went and got a stick and she did a wood knock and we kept walking. I was at the end of the trail just to protect them. So then I showed them the first tree down. They're climbing on it. We go to the second one. This is interesting because the whole time I'm watching the surrounding area. I'm making sure my daughters are safe. I'm not paying attention to what they're doing. I'm watching for safety for my kids. Mm-hmm. And the moment that I stopped being safe, I grabbed my camera and I told my 14-year-old, smile at the camera. So I took a picture of them. And my little one, she was 11. In the picture, she's looking left. And then after I took the picture, she looked as she's following something left to right. And then I see her scatter a little bit to the wall of the mountain. You know something isn't right. So I'm staring at her thinking, oh no, like what does she do? Now she's completely frozen, not even moving. Before she was skipping, her hair was bouncing, done. At this point, my teenage daughter doesn't understand. She's not seeing what I'm seeing, but I'm very concerned at this moment. So then my teenage daughter is now next to her and now she's completely frozen, hands to the side. So your sixth sense, your instinct, right away, it told me, get out right now and start running, start running. This is what it's in my head. I grab the bear spray. I take the safety harness off. I run as fast as I can in front of my daughters. And right before I got to my kids, my daughter turned around and looked at me and she saw me coming, but she had this mortified look on her face I've never seen in 11 years of her life, ever. And I ran in front of them about 20 feet and then I stopped running and I look in front of me and there's an enormous like Sasquatch. He looked like a male. Let me just describe what he looked like. If I had to give a weight, it was about 1,000 pounds. He had about 4 of the same size heads as ours. He was gray skinned and he had a very, very dirty look to him. He was giving me a dirty look, not like smiling, not like, hey, it was just, I'm the boss. I'm in charge here at this point. That I basically, I want to show respect to him. So at this point, I had no idea that 2 of them just ran next to my daughter 10 feet, 2 of them, bipedal, ran next to her. So I'm asking my kids, do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see shoulders? Do you see head? Do you see? And then at this point, he grabs his hand and he scratches his face. And I'm like, oh no, he's moving. He is moving. Because I kept asking him, is he moving? You know? Right, and basically my daughter kept saying, yes, yes. My 14-year-old just bought an iPhone for her and she was actually videotaping our encounter.
I swear to God. Mom?
I see it. Is it by the tree?
Yeah.
So the subject,
I swear to God,
in question is between the V here. This sort of dark figure there. Here's a closer version.
Swear to God. Mom?
I see it. Is it by the tree?
Yeah.
So again, we're looking at this black area here.
Swear to God. Mom?
I see it. Is it by the tree?
Yeah.
So here's the comparison photo and the as you can see, here's the video, the still shot from the video, And here's the comparison photos sent by Claudia. As I click on and off there, we can see that the dark area is not in the comparison photo.
Which was amazing, because I thought for a second, Chris, I have a cell phone in my hand. Here, go, do it. And I said, there is no way I'm going to point. If you're in front of something massive, maybe 10 feet tall, 1,000 pounds, there is no way you're going to piss something off. Like, it's not going to happen.
I can't hear you, Claudia. But you can hear me. Oh, I'm getting no. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. I think we're going to have you on next week for part 2 of this interview, my friend, because we have these technical difficulties, and I think we'll have to. Claudia is apologizing through Facebook, so it's not her fault. Something happened. These things happen. And again, it will get crystallized more and more focused as we move forward. Right now, it's in the embryonic stage, and I want to spend as much time and energy as I possibly can getting it rolling and gaining momentum and gaining folks on board to help push this great big boulder up the mountain like Sisyphus. I think we have about 75 or 80 members in the Facebook group already, and the Facebook group is called Sasquatch and Civic Duty, so please join if you haven't joined already. The GoFundMe campaign is very, very, I want to thank the contributors who have been able to and wanted to help get in on the ground floor with financing this. If you don't have the ability or the desire to do it, I'm not asking for anything. It's only if you want to be part of this in that way. And why am I asking for financial support? Because think about it. We've made almost no progress in the last 50 years. The only progress really that I can think of is that we know more about their structures, all the different kinds of structures that they make, and we very recently have come to recognize just how close in physical proximity they are to our settlements, our neighborhoods, our civilization. Those two things, I think, are, for my money, the main progress that we've made in terms of knowing what they look like. We knew back in October of 1967 what they look like. I mean, there are variations, but fundamentally, most of them look like Patty. Some of them look more human than Patty. Some of them seem to have snouts, et cetera, et cetera. But so, all right, let me just finish this thought. What seems to be holding us back is that nobody is able to. People dedicate their full energy sometimes, if they have the ability to research, but nobody has been able to make a full-time job out of organizing politically this movement. So we have Claudia, who I hope will be able to finish her story about how this disturbing encounter that she had with her 2 daughters led her to make contact with the local authorities and the Fish and Game Service. And how they poo-pooed her claim and said, "Oh, it must have been a bear," and how she then decided that she must not take no for an answer, not take bear for an answer, and so she has been pushing and pushing and pushing, and she's managed to get a lawyer, actually a law firm, and gather together some potential witnesses for if there's ever a court case that she can make happen. Well, she's a pioneer in this effort, and so is Todd Standing. But just think, if instead of 2 points of the spear like that, 2 pioneers, we had 100 people all over North America who were making some of the same hard moves, the same gestures toward justice and information and in an informed citizenry that these 2 are, but all at about the same time, like 100 of us, filing Freedom of Information Act requests and taking the denials of those requests into appeal and going to court and going to the press and having press conferences. And eventually, maybe we will organize marches. I mean, this thing has potential of, the sky's the limit. There are 285 million adults in the United States and Canada. A recent poll by Chapman University put the percentage of people in North America who believe that Sasquatch is real at 21%. That is 59 million people who believe that Sasquatch is a real species. Now, we're not going to be able to mobilize 59 million people. It would be impossible, even if we could, to, manage that sort of a groundswell. But if we can mobilize even 2% of those people, that'll be around 1 million. It's actually 1.7%. And if we have 1 million people by this time next year, or by 14 months from now, and we can coordinate, there's nothing we can't accomplish. There's power in those numbers. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. I've got passion about this project. And about the money thing. Just nobody's ever been able to had the privilege of being able to focus full time, to make it a full-time job, to organize politically like this. And I think that's in large part why we find ourselves stuck in this position of stagnation like we are. Okay, folks, until next Tuesday, I'm Christopher Noel, and I'm very, very glad that you were able to be with us.
If I call 3 times a day, come and drive my blues away. When you come, be ready to play. Do your duty. If you want to have some luck, give your baby your last buck. Don't come quacking like a duck. Do your duty.